Russell, future Russell, put a picture of a beautiful
God.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Doing?
It'll strictly be pictures of my dog. No vagina pics. No. That's where I draw the line.
Oh man, yo, those 36-year-olds that watch our pod are gonna be like,
let's go,
Yeah.
let's go, best podcast ever.
Oh my god.
Gentlemen, boys and girls, children all ages, this is
Suck my dick.
1992 season, motherfuckers. All right, and we. Oh damn, I can't use that because I cursed. Damn.
Shit. Anyways, we are looking at the 91-92 NBA season. We are bringing the 2001 Los Angeles Lakers into the era of the Jumpman. There is only one, and he is dominating.
We're about to see how we walk all over this era.
Listen, 91-92, I was pretty confident that this should have been Michael Jordan's Apex team. I remember vividly making that case because this Bulls team is 67 wins. It's their highest win total of this part of time. Obviously, when Jordan retires and comes back, they destroy a completely depleted league. But this era is really competitive. Really competitive.
Wait.
Lots of great teams.
Just to add to that, too. If y'all have a challenge of what Russell just said, check our archives, motherfuckers.
Facts. But no, so we are in the early 90s. We've come from the mid to late 80s. And obviously, Michael Jordan, this is his third MVP.
Yeah. But
before we get into the MVP talk, what do you think about wins? Because there's not a 60-win team in the West.
Bruh, we averaging 67 wins in the West.
No, come on.
Are you crazy? We're doing the same thing the Bulls did. Are we doing the same thing in the West? 67 wins. We dog walking the whole... All right, 65.
We cannot... We've added the context every hypothetical so far of their crummy regular season attitudes.
That's true. I agree with you 100%. But think about the West this year. It would literally this entire decade. It's trash. It's pure garbage. And I think even with Kobe and Shaq bickering, they're gonna look at this league and say, "We still could dog walk this league while we're bitching at each other." That's what I'm thinking.
I have the Lakers at probably 60 wins. I just think 65 is a lot.
That's insane. Tell me who's beating them more than two times. Tell me anybody who can beat them
2 times in the regular season. Their defense was awful. They didn't like each other.
They were top 10 defense in the league.
In the playoffs?
Oh, top 11. No, top 11 in the league and top 1 in the playoffs.
Defensive rating, 21st. Opposing points per game, 23rd. What are we talking about? What are we saying right now?
Go to are you sure?
Positive. We've done this 4 times now.
Wow. For whatever reason, I thought they were 11th.
Remember how we talked about how
I remember something.
They have the worst defense to win a championship? Worst regular season defense to ever win a championship?
Yeah,
you tell me this all the time.
I've always said that they... Wait, hold on. Time. I feel like something's off because I remember them being 11th in something.
This is it. 11th in 3-pointers made. Fucking, that's the only thing they're 11th on in this list.
Yeah, maybe I'm bugging. All right.
So you might be thinking of the last year, the 2000 year. But
all right,
I have them for 60 wins. I do think they're better than any Western Conference team, and I do see a universe where this Laker team does get to 60.
Yeah.
Because what is the average pace this year?
So I got a question. What team in this Western Conference is the Spurs? to the Lakers.
We're gonna get into that when we talk about the playoffs.
The reason I ask is because, all right, we're facing these guys 4 times. We're facing the Spurs 4 times. We're facing Sacramento 4 times. I could see us splitting there. I don't see us splitting with any of these other teams. Like,
well, Portland's really good this year, right?
But like, who's like? I think every single team in the West has an issue, and the issue is Shaq. Who the hell is gonna stop Shaq at this point in the league? There's nobody.
I definitely think when we talk playoffs, I understand exactly what you're saying. Like, I completely see, and like that's the interesting part about adding this team to specifically the Western Conference playoffs, because in the East there's a few rough and rugged centers that can kind of get in the way, but
and how much
West, it's really an amazing David Robinson season, which we're going to get into because I think we're going to have the Spurs in round 1. Yep. An amazing David Robinson season. He wins Defensive Player of the Year. He's third in MVP voting. I think he has a really good chance to handle Shaq in his absolute peak, which I think this is David Robinson's one of his 3 best years.
Yeah.
And, to your point, there are not a lot of serious 7-footers in this Western Conference. And then like I said, I still have him for 60 wins because I'm factoring in some turmoil. I'm factoring in some Shaq and Kobe bullshit. So I got him for 60. 2,000 Lakers? I think I agree with you. I think they kill everybody.
Another question. Mm-hmm. Who's stopping Kobe in this entire league? Besides, like, MJ and Scotty, best duo to stop him. And
listen, luckily nobody stopped them in their actual season, and they didn't get to 60 wins. So
I feel that, but it was all. It was also, in my opinion, they had to go. So I felt like they had the harder conference. That was the whole reason. Like, the whole reason that they didn't get 60 wins is because of their conference. Now they're in the easiest conference of probably the last couple decades.
You're so bugging. 90s West is not worse than 80s West.
Yo, what are we talking about? We have a Utah team that was mid throughout all of Karl Malone and John Stockton's entire careers. But guess what? The freaking league just plateaus. The West goes to dog shit, and now they're looking like the freaking best team in the league in the West.
That's 6 years from now. That's not right now.
Yeah, but
right now they're second because they're both. Stockton's averaging like 14 assists a game this year.
That's cute, but they still are not bad. That's not. Do you think this West is just as good or better than the 2001 West?
No, I'd say that the 2001 West is better, but it's not the worst West in decades, like you just said. That's a take.
I think the 90s West. I think the 90s West is either the second worst decade of the West.
I don't know. I have to get back to you on that one.
Think about how many people, like, who the amount of.
I'd have to look at the 70s. I don't know enough about the 70s to make that claim, because the 70s.
I mean, I don't consider them real. Like, I don't consider them like a real thing. I'm talking about from 80s and up. We already know this.
Oh, so
Russell, whenever I say a stat, it's from the 80s and
out of 4 decades that we have to work with.
Yes, exactly.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Fucking ridiculous. Okay, thank you, Lindsay. I don't even need your words. Your laughter is plenty.
No, she knows. She knows, but she knows it's true though. Like, come on.
But I can't believe I have the Lakers #1 in the conference, and you're still giving me shit.
No, I'm just saying that they're gonna match the Bulls and wins.
Yeah, absolutely not. No chance in hell. Well then, do you have Shaq winning MVP?
No.
Okay, talk to me about that.
Because he has Kobe averaging whatever the hell he's averaging. It's always going to be that issue for me. We've literally never seen it. I don't care if you tell me the Steve Nash year, because the Steve Nash year, it matters differently because Steve Nash averaged more assists. If you have 2 dominant scorers, both averaging 30 plus, 29 plus, 28 plus, whatever the hell they're averaging, they're going to cancel each other out. Always. And then the funny part is everybody was
in 6, 2 steals a game, 52%.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like, and this is This is arguably one of like Jordan's greatest years. So like, think about this. They thought of Clyde Drexler as like in competition with Jordan, right? Like that was
okay.
like
we went into that at the time. Go to check out that season legacy breakdown. I have, in my opinion, a fantastic explanation for why that fucking happened.
Yeah.
Fucking when you don't have the internet and you don't have national TV everywhere, legend builds.
Yeah, that's true. But the funny thing is that they're really going to have internet and TV because the Los Angeles Lakers are going to be wilding and they're going to be seeing a guy named Kobe Bryant. They're going to be like, wow, this is like MJ's clone.
Yeah.
So, because I don't know, like, how much off, like, because obviously I think Kobe has like a easier task to score, right? Because you got Shaq doing what he's doing. MJ needs to score all of that. Like Kobe technically doesn't need to. So obviously Kobe
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I agree with that.
I do think
you're
right.
Needs to do it.
Yeah, you're true. It's true. But what I'm saying is Shaq is drawing double teams. Pippen ain't drawing no fucking double teams. So it makes it a little easier for Kobe to get his buckets. But he's gonna be doing it like now. It's a Kobe. It's a MJ level skill player. I would say.
Yes.
That is now going against a much easier defense than what MJ is probably going against.
I'd argue this might be the deepest. This and that early 2000s period where we plucked these teams is probably the deepest two-guard pool that we've had between
MJ,
Drexler, Reggie Miller, Chris Mullin. Like, there's a lot of Mitch Richmond, fucking. There's a lot of solid two guards, specifically two guards, that put in work in this era. And what do you call it? Well, I guess Mullen's like kind of a small forward more than.
I was just about to say, like, and I don't think Reggie Miller is like 100% there yet, right? It's another 2 years before he starts doing the stuff with the Knicks, and in '94 he is like when he kind of really pops off, right?
21 points a game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal a game. It's right in there. He's 26 years old. He's I
just
like right
remember
in the
him going like
He's got his all-star periods are like kind of separated like greatly.
Yeah.
But he's in the I would consider him in the thick of it. But what do you call it? I just think it's a really solid era for two guards. And I think Kobe is Joe Dumars also in there at the end of his career, even though he's 28, but it feels like the end of his career because it's post Bad Boys. I guess he plays till the late 90s too. I take that back. Good era for two guards.
Yeah.
I think Kobe is right in there. The first team is going to be really interesting for guards because obviously it's going to be Jordan and Drexler was the guy.
Well, they did it traditional. They did it traditional.
No, there's two guards.
Drexler.
Two guards. It's Jordan and Drexler right here.
Yeah. There's no way.
Give me a stat line for Shaq. I did notice something before you say that.
Yeah.
I was going to bring this up. The Lakers, for once, will not have the lowest pace. Ironically, the Lakers that are here, this is where the Lakers of 2001 will fall because their pace is 91.7.
Yeah.
And the lowest one is 91.6.
But what's average pace?
96.6.
No, and for in 2001.
Get that 2 seconds.
Yeah.
01 is, I think it's low.
The reason I asked that is because the average matters because it changed. It's like it might be identical. They might be exactly identical, like in terms of pace. And if so, then we could expect kind of the same score.
Nah, the average pace is 91.3. It's way lower.
Okay. Versus the what was
96.6.
Okay, so you expect them to score probably a tad bit more. I probably got them averaging maybe like 29, 30 points max, I would say.
Yeah.
Between the both of them. And Shaq will be I would go Shaq. Actually, I'll do it more like Shaq 32, probably 15 and
15
like 3 blocks. Yeah. I think he
is anybody averaging 15 in this era? So Rodman. Fucking Rodman and Kevin Willis, bastard.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Rodman. Screwing up my thought.
Yeah.
Rodman, 18 rebounds a game. Imagine being on the basketball court and only caring about missed shots. It sounds like the worst existence ever.
I'd hate
It
so
sounds
much.
so boring. But this guy literally figured out how the fucking rim clicks in 8 different directions.
Literally, I think he's the
Sounds
greatest
like fucking
rebounder
nightmare.
of all time. I don't care what stats say. Like even though stats can prove that he is actually, because a lot of people will say Wilt, but Wilt had
Wilt
much higher
Wilt
pace.
would definitely say Wilt.
Yeah, much higher pace. But I think just the mere fact that he was clearly undersized, right?
Yeah.
And he like literally learned the science of rebounds is just different. Like no one else talked about rebounding how this dude did. Yeah.
Barkley's a really underrated rebounder too. Like not underrated. He's known for rebounding, but like for his size.
Oh, of course. No, yeah, like
crazy.
He's 6'6", bro, and he averaged over 10 rebounds for his entire career.
Every season except his rookie year.
Yeah.
Even when he sucked, he got 10 rebounds a game.
Yeah.
Like that's absurd. But okay, maybe I could see a universe where he gets close to 15. I would probably I would go 30 and 13 with 3 blocks a game. Because I do think there's a lot of paint.
I was stuck between 13 and 15.
Packing.
Yeah.
Like David Robinson and Hakeem Olajuwon over 4 blocks a game. I'm not saying that. I like this little spot here. He's definitely in the top 10 with that 3 block range.
Yeah.
That seems like it makes sense.
Yeah.
And then here, that 13 would put him right in the top 5. And then at 32, puts him right above Jordan for the scoring title. With your 67 wins, man, I think there's a case for MVP, regardless of what you're saying about Kobe. I think the case is there.
How is Kobe not averaging like at least 29, 6, and 6?
No, I'm not disagreeing with that, but I think they have a chance to both be top 5 in MVP voting potentially. Yeah. And there is definitely a world where these first place votes are split like crazy.
So, quick question, Ross. Do you think this MVP season from Jordan is better than AI's MVP season?
Way better.
You would say hell yeah, right? Way better.
Way better.
AI won MVP that year, and it's partially because they're number one in they were number one in the East, and Kobe and Shaq negated each other. It's just always gonna be.
I know.
Yeah.
But I really feel that way. Like what? Okay, just for the sake of doing
you feel
it,
like
I know
Shaq is better, probably more than likely, right? I mean, I wouldn't say he's better than this Jordan personally, but
it's tough. I feel like they're on the same level though in terms of like where they're at.
Yep.
Like
the dominance level is definitely equal.
Yeah.
For sure.
Just for the sake of doing it, just because I'm curious, how do you feel about 2000 Shaq? Just hypothetically.
If it's the 2000 season as a whole, I got Shaq.
Or 2000
MVP.
Shaquille O'Neal.
2000 Shaq is MVP in like almost. I can't imagine many leagues where he's not, like many years that he's not MVP.
That's why I want to. You've heard me do this in previous hypotheticals. I'm probably going to keep doing it as we keep going because I do think it's important to note, like, you're right about the Kobe thing, but like,
it's due to Kobe always though. It's never Shaq's fault. It's because Kobe takes the step up that we take this as the greatest team of all time, and we also unfortunately, it just Shaq had to be willing, or has to, and he wasn't really willing, but he pretty much he had to be willing to let Kobe be number 2 to win multiple championships and lose out on MVPs. That's just what's gonna happen when you have a great teammate.
So, do you have Shaq as second? Then would you put Shaq second in MVP voting?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I have Kobe no worse than 4th or 5th, and I would have Shaq second, like for sure. And
it would probably fall the same way that the 2001 MVP voting was.
I think you're right. I think Kobe makes Clyde look worse in this era.
They're gonna.
You're right about that.
Yeah, 100%. Because
this is an interesting. I think David Robinson's stats are crazy this year, man. They're crazy. If he's still gonna win Defensive Player of the Year, I wonder what people would think about where he would fit or where he would fall in the All NBA teams. I feel like I would still have Shaq first, but I definitely think it's the biggest argument we've had yet. Like, because
That's no argument for me. I'm sorry.
Considering he's won awards this year, and he's not going to lose those awards, I'm not putting Shaq above. I wouldn't put Shaq in the top 3 for Defensive Player of the Year this year. I just think it's an interesting conversation. Because obviously Shaq's going to give you more scoring and he can play defense, but Robinson's giving you, like, the Admiral. Like, this isn't insane. 2.3 blocks and 4.5 steals? That's only happened one other time in history. Yeah. It's him and Akeem right in this era. But other than that, it's never fucking happened.
Yeah. But you got to also take into consideration, in my mind, 67 wins. Yeah. Shaq is the best player on that team. And he's by far...
If it's 67 wins, it's unarguable.
He's the only...
At 60 wins, it becomes interesting.
Yeah. And he's the only person who has a legit argument against Jordan for who's the best player in the league this year.
Yeah.
That's That's like no doubt about it. You can you have to talk about them separate because they're 2 separate positions. And that's how people would have to have that conversation. Shaq's a center, so I'm not going to compare him to Jordan. But Jordan's the best guard in the league. That's how it would have to be because Shaq is way too dominant in 01, and I think he'd be the same dominance in the 90s, even though he does have way better competition that he's going against in terms of his position. Yeah, because you're going against You're going against Hakeem. Is still in his prime, right? You're going against David Robinson in his prime. You're going against Patrick Ewing in his prime. You're going against all of these like great bigs, and I still would say that Shaq I still feel like he's averaging 30 on them.
Yeah. Not only is the pace getting closer, but also the 3-point attempts are starting to get closer. The Lakers are still going to lead the league in both makes and attempts. But it's getting closer.
And field goal
way closer.
Too. Yeah.
Way closer. Lindsay, what do you think?
38%.
About the MVP odds?
Yeah.
I feel like there's always that issue of them being the dynamic duo.
Yeah.
That'll make it hard for people to like pick one over the other unless like Shaq really is just that dominant.
And what about the All-NBA teams?
No, I would see David Robinson. Oh, that's tough.
That's what I feel. I feel the same way. I feel like it's
because
tough. It shouldn't be, but it kind of is. Like, those stats are crazy, and he's, like I said, he's a Defensive Player of the Year. That has to matter a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 4.5 blocks and like almost 2.5 steals a game. Like, how do you bump him?
It's because Shaq's going to have 60 wins and this team's going to have 45. Like, that would be that's the only reason. It would have to be wins based. And it's really weird. Some people, I don't know how this happens. Like, I personally can't do it, but there are people who just disregard wins when it comes to All-NBA. I don't understand how the fuck you do that. I feel like don't get that.
You know how many people could average like this year? You know how many people are averaging 30 this year? It's actually like at a crazy all-time high
in 2023, right?
Yeah.
In 2023, it's crazy. But
I feel like if I was voting for like MVP and All NBA, I would weigh winning more towards MVP. Like I would still like weigh winning into like the All NBA, but I feel like there'd be a little bit more leeway versus like MVP. Like I would want someone on like a winning team more.
Yeah. I feel like if you're winning an award and saying you're the best at it, it's also partially because you made your team the best at it, right? Like if you're winning Defensive Player of the Year, you're typically not the Defensive Player of the Year if your team was last in defense, right?
Facts.
Like it's usually you're altering that entire stat sheet for your entire team. Like, that's why MVP is based off winning, because you were the best player on the best team. You deserve MVP, because you're legit making them the best team in the league kind of thing.
I use similar rules for my All-NBA team. So for me, I think it would be very close. I think the votes would be split, but I do have Shaq over David Robinson here. But man, it's close. It's real close. Like, I totally understand.
Just
and
to,
then, yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to add to that real quick because
Yeah.
there are times where where you might still feel like the MVP is a player that is like obviously Joker last year, right? Some people
Right.
felt like MVP he was in the 6th seed, but it was because they felt like of what he brought to his team versus
Right.
whoever was in the 1st seed, right? So that also obviously has to matter too. But still, like
Yeah.
you're not gonna fucking put someone who's like a bottom feeder in the top,
Right.
you know, in top 5 kind of thing. So, but
Yeah.
and that's where David Robinson and Shaq, that's where it will be the gap because Shaq would at minimum, based off your rules, like your thing with 60, that's 15 more wins than the Spurs.
Yeah, it's what I'm saying. That you're right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely
Yeah.
right. It's why it makes it tough. Like
Yeah.
if one of them, if Shaq was even like 52 to 53 wins, then it becomes interesting. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know, 60 wins, if they're leading the West, I find it super hard to believe. I feel like that's what's pushed Clyde Drexler all the way here to the first team is that like 25 points, 7 rebounds, 6.5 rebounds, 6.5 assists, 2 steals a game is great numbers, but being number 1 in the conference really sets him over the top.
Yeah. Yep. And plus, he didn't have another shooting guard to really go against him in that, right?
I think John Stockton would have been first team.
Oh yeah,
if the Jazz had gotten those couple more wins. 16 and 14, 3 steals. Holy fuck! We're gonna get to them in a minute. But are we good? We're ready to talk playoffs?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. So looking at the West, this is gonna be where it gets interesting because it's definitely not the most competitive, but there are some fun matchups.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an option. I give you the option for round 1. Jazz, Spurs, Jazz versus Spurs. Excuse me. Sorry.
I think we should go. I think it should go. Like if I was making, I think I go Spurs, Jazz, then Portland,
Blazers. Yeah. And then we do Bulls. Okay. That's where my head was at.
Yep.
All right, so let's talk about San Antonio. We've already talked about them a pretty good amount. Obviously, they have David Robinson. Now, this is the important part to note that I feel like if I don't say it, there's going to be somebody in the comments that goes, "What are you fucking stupid? Do your research." David Robinson got hurt at the end of this season, and he was not in the playoffs. And that is why they got swept. Yeah. But we're obviously going to add a healthy Robinson. That's critical.
This is a hypothetical, motherfuckers. We ain't doing no real shit, man. Obviously, we're using a whole time machine. Who you know have a time machine?
I've only heard of a hot tub time machine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, those are in movies. Like, this is kind of like
for the sake of
I'm here for like over an hour.
You're still going?
Who, me? Sorry.
Yeah.
For the sake of saying it, if David Robinson was not eligible to play for this Spurs team, Lakers in 2. Not 3, 2 games. They forfeit before the 3rd game. White flag, 100%. Shaq drops 80 per game. Tries to fuck with Will Chamberlain and just rapes the entire world. But let's play the game. Let's say David Robinson's super healthy. Defensive Player of the Year. Still managed to win Defensive Player of the Year, regardless of not finishing the season.
Show you how missed amazing. Like 14 games.
68 is a lot. I mean, 60 is the cutoff, so like 68 is a lot of games to miss. That's like an Anthony Davis season.
You mean 14 is a lot for him to miss? Whatever. He only missed 14.
Whatever. Still, Anthony Davis-esque, if you ask me, with a weird game total. But whether David Robinson's here or not, I have the Lakers winning in a sweep.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that they're going to get through a sweep. I do think that Kobe goes for potentially 40.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of defensive firepower in the backcourt. Rod Strickland. Yep. I'm pretty sure that's Kyrie's relative. Kyrie Irving's relative. Known for his floater game, being really good around.
You can talk to Kyrie later about how Kobe cooked him.
But yeah, I have Kobe no less than 35 a game on near 50% shooting.
Yeah.
And I think Kobe is the one who gets them through this series if David Robinson is going to try to cancel Shaq out.
Yeah.
Like,
all right.
And what's their 3-point shooting looking like? Oh, their 80s level 3-point shooting? Yeah, that's a sweep. It's definitely a sweep.
Definitely a sweep.
There's no comparison here.
The only contrast that I have on your end is I think you're forgetting narrative here, my friend.
Okay.
Shaq hates David Robinson. You know that. He has this whole thing where he wanted an autograph or some shit.
Yeah.
He hold him. So I know you did your hypothetical 80, right? Averaging. He's gonna average 60 on David Robinson. He's gonna just literally just keep on dunking on him over and over and over. He's gonna be like, you should have saw what I did to the last defensive player of the year. Mutombo can't wave his fucking finger anymore. David Robinson, dick in freaking face all the time.
Swinging that shit.
Yep.
So
do you think he breaks a backboard trying to dunk on David Robinson in this
Hell
series?
yeah. This is the time that he broke backboard. Yeah. Hell yeah. And he's like 100 pounds heavier than what he was when he first came in the league and he was breaking backboards. He's definitely breaking a backboard on David Robinson. He's like
that's the other reason I specifically wanted to use this year is because this is the last Shaq-less year for a while he's where he's not in the league at all. And completely rapes the face of the world. And David Robinson just covered in scenes.
What the fuck?
Kobe's still gonna average the 35 or whatever, but Shaq's averaging 60. They're together. They're scoring 95 points, and then the threes are gonna just flood all over these fucking Spurs face.
Yeah, so basically, Kobe and Shaq be 95 to 104 by themselves. So all he needs is a couple of Fisher or threes. They're set.
Yeah, facts.
Please, people, get in the comments. Fuck with us, all right? Fuck with us.
You're gonna drop 90 points.
Shaq's gonna break that scoring record in the playoffs each game.
Yeah, every single game. What? No, it's just gonna be 60 straight. He's not gonna do any more, any less. He's just gonna give him 60, stare at him, and literally like crush backboards in front of his family. And like he's gonna be torturing his freaking kids while watching this. Like, oh, this is what I do to your daddy. He didn't sign my fucking autograph. So I'm freaking.
No, he'd be like, I'm your daddy now.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to attempting to make the 2K highlights for that. Oh boy, it's gonna be a lot of dunking. But next we have a younger version of a team I think we're gonna see in the next hypothetical. A younger Utah Jazz with in my opinion, completely peak Stockton.
Yeah.
16 and 13 with 3 steals in the regular season. Goes to 15 and 13 and a half, 2 steals in the playoffs. So a little bit of a drop, but still 13 and a half assists a game is crazy to see. Like Magic averaging 21 and 15 in the playoffs was also crazy.
Yeah.
But Stockton being the stereotypical point guard, cuffing Derek Fisher in this series, in my opinion.
Oh,
but
for sure.
Karl Malone, 29 and 11, filling up the stat sheet, a steal and a half and a block and a half a game, shooting 52% in the playoffs.
Yeah.
A force. A absolute force. I want to see what Karl Malone's numbers are against Horace Grant, who I believe is going to be on him most of this hypothetical matchup, and an older Horace Grant at that.
Yeah. And even so, they're going to want to like pull out Shaq too for the pick and rolls. Like, that's going to be another issue. And so just if you guys
25
haven't,
and 11 in 31 games.
Yeah. If you guys haven't followed Shaq's legacy breakdown, Utah was actually his kryptonite for a little bit because
they
kept losing to them in the playoffs. And Shaq in 2003 or 2004, I can't remember what season. They actually
it was 2002. It was the last championship year. I remember because it's one of our most viewed clips as it stands today.
So check our archives, but Shaq
Facts.
admits to actually ducking Utah for the
Facts.
So this is not just one of those.
Sorry, my
they
dog's
should just
Continue.
win this. They should just win this series, but
He did not disparage our dog like that. She is a beautiful, beautiful being. You fuck.
Just think of a beautiful, beautiful cunt.
That.
Just think of a beautiful, beautiful.
Bruh, no.
Beautiful. Absolutely stunning. But no.
Russell, put a picture of a cunt.
Oh
a beautiful
my
one.
God.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
doing?
It'll strictly be pictures of my dog. No vagina pics. No. That's where I draw the line.
Oh man, yo, those 36-year-olds that watch our pod are gonna be like, let's go, best podcast ever.
Oh my God. But on that note, I do agree. I see Stockton Malone getting theirs. I see this as a 6-game series for many of these reasons. I think under regular circumstances, if we're just looking on paper, I can see like a closer to 5-game series or even a sweep for the 0-1 Lakers. But you're fucking right. You totally brought up a point that I completely forgot about. Shaq felt like the Jazz were their kryptonite.
Yeah.
And that was an old, crummier players Jazz, as we talked about earlier. Like,
so
I could see it going 6.
So you see, and I agree. I agree with the 6, and I think overall the thought process is probably gonna be there because you still got the core pieces. You got Karl Malone, John Stockton, Jerry Sloan. But the one thing that you don't have is the experience. Because what was so big about that Jazz team was their experience. Like, they had so many years in the playoffs together. They made multiple finals runs. So that kind of, like, that pedigree kind of helped them, right? In this case, like, and also the Lakers almost looked at them as, like, the big brothers, right? Like, in that sense. In this case, they're not that. Right, they're younger. They don't have as much experience. They didn't experience those finals runs. So it's not identical. But I still think overall, whatever was giving them causing the Lakers issues should still cause them issues. Just I don't think the Jazz will be able to capitalize on it as much as they did when they were older.
They still do have a Greg Ostertag plus. As we remember, Greg Ostertag, the guy Shaq snuffed before game 1 of the 99 regular season, I believe. But they do have Mark Eaton, who just so happens to be one of the greatest shot blockers of all time, holds the NBA record for blocks per game in a season, and total blocks.
But this was towards the end of his
7'4". He's a big motherfucker.
35.
And he's a body to throw at Shaq, to just, like, rack up fouls.
Yeah.
And Shaq, that's something that the Jazz did when they played Shaq later on. Yeah. That's something that they did. I do see Shaq still managing to get to near 30. I feel like that's definitely possible. Sure, but once again, my friend, the Mamba is raping. The Mamba is giving that pee-pee hard without permission.
Yeah. Definitely, I probably got Kobe like going crazy in this series too.
Yeah,
he historically used to beat dog shit down Utah's back.
Like, yes, he did.
Shit.
Yes, he did. In that season that we were talking about, where they intentionally didn't play Utah, I think Kobe averaged like 40 a game against them. It was like 38 to 40, something like that. It'll be underneath me, but
Utah alive. So
so I could see that. And then it's about the 3-point shooting, because this is another team not taking advantage of 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
So again, if the others, if Robert Horry, if Derek Fisher can get some of those threes to fall, then it's maybe that makes it a 5-game series. But I have it in 6 because I think Stockton Malone get theirs for sure. I really do believe that.
I agree. I think that's what kind of makes it harder on Shaq too. Forcing him to play in that pick and roll is really
Right.
Yeah,
True.
It's really big because now you're making him work way more defensively.
Move a lot more. Yeah. Lindsay, what you got?
For them, can you scroll down again? Let me see the people again.
You want me to go players?
Yeah.
Gotcha. These are the playoff numbers.
No, I say it's like 4, maybe 5, but like maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, just have him be shit down that leg.
Why?
That makes sense.
Because I don't respect Karl Malone at all. Fuck Karl Malone.
I feel that.
Man, I really would like to make that one of our very first shirts when the time comes.
Fuck Karl Malone.
I want to wear a fuck Karl Malone shirt on the podcast. That's what I want.
Bro, talk about on the podcast. I will wear that shit proudly out places. People will be like, why don't you like Karl Malone? And I'll be like, just sit a minute and I'll explain to you all the reasons why I don't fucks with this man. But no, that's a good shirt. We should definitely make fuck Karl Malone a thing.
Karl Malone is the only like athlete that I'd punch in the face, but I'd run. I'd legitimately run afterwards because he's like double my size. Like,
I was about to say, I feel like the list of players I would run away from are way longer than that.
Are you crazy? Karl Malone is jacked. Like he gonna like if he catches me, he gonna beat the shit out of me. But
yes,
I'm hitting him with a kneecap.
And now considering he's got that, he definitely has crazy old man strength.
Yeah,
like where he gets you with the grip.
Yeah,
and he's got your arm, and then like he lets go of your arm. There's just an imprint.
Serial killer.
No, what you gotta do is you gotta get the one shot in his face, and then before you run away, like kick at his kneecap really quick, and then run.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because you know he got like a replaced kneecap or a hip or some shit like that. Sure.
I say go for kneecap.
This bitch ass. Yeah. After I slap him and I'm running, I'm be like, "That's what you get for talking about Kobe, bitch."
As Chappelle show taught us, if you aim under the kneecap, if you shoot somebody below the kneecap, it's not attempted murder, kids. Just so you know, Dave Chappelle taught me that.
Oh, and I'm not. But
like, what if you just have really bad aim? Like you were trying to kill somebody.
The shit out of Karl Malone. Fuck that. Pistol
But all right. So we are up to the Western Conference Finals, where we have the Portland Trailblazers. Obviously, they finished number 1 in the Western Conference this year with 57 wins.
Yeah.
Right? They are top 10 for the regular season. This is something I noticed. In most of these categories.
Yeah.
And when we go to the playoffs, they are basically, as we can see here, top 10. And then moving to playoffs, they are basically no worse than 13th in any team category statistically. Greens everywhere. So a really good all-around
That's
team.
actually really bad that they're 13th in turnovers, though.
I mean, that's what gets you 57 wins and now over 60.
No, this is playoffs, remember. So so that means that they were the 4th worst team.
Oh, true.
Turnovers.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. That's a great point. That's very true. I didn't even look at it like that. I totally didn't put that together.
And especially in a series, you're going against, especially what we would consider top 5 team all time. If you turn the ball over and you got Shaq just pounding you down, that's going to be an issue. Pause.
Kevin Duckworth. You know about Kevin Duckworth?
Not really.
You know what he's famous for?
What?
So, he's famous, and anybody who's played a hardcore 2K would know that he's famous for the one-handed jump shot. He took one-handed jump shots in his career.
Yeah.
With palming the ball like this and turning around and fading like that.
Yeah.
That he never put 2 hands on the ball. And so when people play 2K and they make their own shot, a lot of people do the one-hander, the Duckworth.
Yeah.
I'll have some of that on your screen as I'm playing, I'm talking about him. But that's going to be who's guarding Shaq, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And it seems bad, if you ask me.
So, I know, but before you go, actually, because I know this is the obvious choice, right, to assume Shaq is going to destroy, right? But I really do think Kobe's going to, like, torture this dude the same way Jordan did. Because to him, it's going to be like, to him, it's going to be like, you're the guy? Like, it's gonna be the same thing over. It's like Clyde Drexler is gonna go over the finals that he should be having the next series, but instead beforehand, and he's not gonna know it though. It's an alternate universe, and he's gonna be getting dog whipped the same way that MJ did him.
Yeah, I could totally see what you're saying.
Like,
so
he's
give me
gonna
stat
eat him
lines.
alive.
Give me some stat lines.
I think what MJ MJ averaged like 36 or some shit on him, right?
I think it's 35, but I'll double check.
Yeah, 35, something like that. We probably do.
We hit mad threes.
Similar. I think Kobe, because Shaq's gonna be eating too. I got Kobe getting like 33. Like,
yeah, so
this time
MJ was 36, 5, and 6.5.
Yeah.
With, I think this is probably pretty close.
Yeah.
I'm being real.
I think
52%
I got Kobe,
is crazy.
Yeah.
But
I got Kobe doing 33, 8 assists, and like 6 rebounds. Because at this point he's also passing and stuff. And I think Shaq is still gonna give you at least at minimum 30. Probably gonna do it almost the same. They probably both average 33, to be honest.
Yeah, there's a universe where that happens. Yeah. Were the Blazers a team shooting threes? I got to imagine they were shooting a couple. Yeah, they're taking 10 threes a game and making 4. So that's not going to be as big of a factor here. And it's really the first time we've said that.
Though. It's keeping up.
Yes, but if you told me that the Blazers took 15 threes to match them, it's not as unrealistic as where it's been previously, where teams are taking like 2 threes in a game and like to get to 15
that's what I meant. I think
impossible.
They could catch up the same way. Like the Lakers are still shooting it at a better clip. I think it's like 38% for the Lakers, but 36% is not bad at all. 35%.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
And that they're definitely getting some of their points that way.
Yep.
But yeah, at the end of the day, they don't have people that really play serious defense. Clifford Robinson was pretty good at defense. But again, we're seeing Danny Ainge again.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Not a lot of solid defenders on this Portland team.
Yeah. And
if
both Kobe and Shaq could eat, if both Kobe and Shaq could eat in a series, unless you're like you have a super great team, it's really difficult to win again. Like, you've never seen them both average 30 and them lose the series. Like, that means they're probably dog walking you. And that's exactly what I have. I have them dog walking them in 4 games.
Well, yeah, I agree. I think it could be a sweeper. Maybe no, I don't see a universe where they could even get to 5.
Yeah,
I want to know what Kobe and Shaq's record is when they both put 30 points in the same game.
Yeah,
can't be low.
Yeah,
cannot be a negative record.
Yeah,
but last but certainly not least, we have the team of the 90s. The 67-15 Chicago Bulls. Not only do I think this is the best Bulls team, but Michael Wilbon thinks it's the best Bulls team, and that motherfucker covered Chicago more than anybody I know.
Got to wrap it up by picking my favorite Bulls team ever. There's no tricks here. I'm not going to go back to the 70s and pick Chet Walker, Bob Love, Sloan, and Van Leer, even though I was a kid. It's got to be between the 6 Bulls teams that won championships. Everybody thinks the best team is the 96 team. The team that won a league record 72 games. My favorite team is the 92 team. It was before expansion. I think the schedule was tougher. I thought the teams were tougher. I usually get shouted down by that icon guy when I say the 92 team was better than the 96 team. The 92 team won 67 games. The 92 team had not Rodman, but Horace Grant, had Bill Cartwright, had John Paxson. The 92 team, B.J. Armstrong. There's something about that 92 team I thought that just went through the schedule, went through the playoffs, beat a Portland team that had already been to the finals, in the finals. But I get shouted down. I'm not going to argue. Well, I'm going to argue a little bit. The 96 team, that team where Jordan comes back and he's there for a full season, I guess it's that much better than the 92 team. Hard for me to accept. So in order for me 96, 92, 98. My top 3 Bulls teams.
Jordan does
Scottie Pippen.
That's what matters.
Scottie Pippen,
you know?
to me, this is his best year with Jordan. My opinion.
Oh, for sure.
Sorry, I didn't.
I agree with that. 100%.
Definitely his best year. 21, 8, and 7 in the regular season.
Yeah.
And playoffs, I think it's
22,
relatively similar. So, yeah, about 19 and a half, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals and a block, shooting 47%. Really good Scottie year from a guy who, I don't know, I don't always say the nicest things about Scottie. I'm not always like in the Scottie Pippen fan club, but this has got to be the best year for him. To your point, 11th in total points for the playoffs per game is pretty low, but they are an amazing defensive team. Yeah, that is where their hat lies. That is the system of their team. They play great defense, and they feed Jordan in the half court with the triangle. Yeah. And it is Phil Jackson versus Phil Jackson. First time we've seen that. Yeah. And I still think I have Shaq putting up 40. What did Shaq put up in the 0-1 finals? What was his 0-1 finals numbers officially?
I think it's gonna be more like the next finals where he averages like 38. I think that's what he's doing. The same thing that he did to the Nets.
Oh, what he did in the last one?
Yeah, when he averaged 38.
So the 0-2 finals,
I guess it was the Pacers was when he averaged 38.
Yeah. 36, 12, 2 blocks, 60%. Yeah, that's probably pretty accurate. Yeah, I think that's probably pretty close.
Kobe's stat line, he's just gonna be a little bit less than what he had there. Where I think he
this one or the 0-2.
They'll probably be more similar to that one actually. Look back at that one. That one was what 24. I have him.
So this is 27. 5.
Yeah, he shot efficiently though. I don't think he's gonna shoot
51. Yeah, I don't think he's shooting 51% against Jordan. Yeah.
Well, Jordan and Pippen. That's my reasoning.
Yeah, true.
But
you're right. Yeah, this is probably close. I think this is pretty fair. Yeah. Maybe more assists.
I think he shoots probably more like 25, 7 and 7 personally, but
how much?
Still good.
45?
Yeah.
I don't think you're crazy.
At this time I think he was averaging 47-ish at the time of his, like in the regular season. I don't know what he was doing in the playoffs though.
Let you know.
So I think he goes a little lower.
He's 46.5% regular season.
Yeah.
Playoffs.
Oh, and then 47.
47.
Yep.
Playoffs.
So I think he is more like 45, 44, something like that. More towards his career average. And then but Shaq is definitely gonna be the one dominating this series. It's gonna be like all the other, years that Shaq wins Finals MVPs. Kobe dominates during the, Western Conference, and then Shaq just sweeps it all, and I'm not so sure.
And also, this is something that they historically Chicago always had trouble with big men, really great centers, because their rebounding is lacking. There's no getting around that. Yeah. Let's go to the regular season numbers for rebounding. Yeah, near the bottom, top 10 in defensive rebounding. Total rebounding, they're right in the middle of the pack. Yeah. I think Shaq, 16 rebounds a game is a fucking lot. I don't know about that.
Who's stopping him from doing it, though?
That's the thing. That's the thing that's giving me cause to pause.
You can't assume that he does that.
But 36 and 12 with 3 blocks, I think, is probably pretty close. What does Jordan put up?
I don't know.
I think it's close to his regular season numbers.
Yeah, the 30 instead of the 33?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kobe's going to be
season,
one of the better defenders that he's seen, that year at least.
Right.
So it would probably, I could see something like that. But I think also going against Kobe is going to amp him up.
Yes.
He's probably going to average 30. I could see him average anywhere between 30 and 33. I don't think that's... Because he definitely amped up his game.
It's crazy. 34.
What did he average in the finals?
36, 6.5, and 5 rebounds in 6 games.
He probably, I could see him
2
averaging
3s a game.
Yeah, I think
Making
33 is
2
probably
threes.
more realistic. Because I think his defense on Jordan is gonna be way better than Clyde's, and I don't know if he's. I don't like. Yeah, it'll probably be like 33. Same thing, probably 33, 66.
Do you think he
like
gets inspired and shoots the same amount of threes?
No.
Because Kobe's shooting threes, but not like. I mean, he's definitely shooting more threes than Clyde was shooting. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
I gotta get So Clyde was making like 2 threes a game, I think. Or no, not making. He was attempting like 2 threes a game.
Yeah.
And I think Kobe's probably at like 4 or 5, right? Am I bugging?
No, I don't think 4. It's probably like 3 or 4.
I'll double check.
Maybe.
I'll double
I don't know.
check. So
Yeah.
91-92. This is where
4
Clyde
threes
is
a
at
game.
4.5. He's making 3.5.
Yeah.
So Kobe,
Making 1.5.
yeah.
If
Sorry.
he was making 3.5, then he'd be the greatest 3-point shooter ever.
In this era. No,
Yeah.
Kobe, you're right. Kobe's not taking
Yeah.
this many threes. So
Yeah.
that's probably where
He's taking
the
3.
points
Yeah.
go down a little bit for MJ, but it's definitely
Yeah.
not going under 30. MJ had a
Yeah.
sick Wilt Chamberlain level obsession with averaging 30.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's also
very
like
weird.
going against Kobe is gonna definitely bring out like he's gonna want to wall out. I think that I have that thought process for both of them. They're both gonna like rip each other's freaking throats apart.
What was the pace for the 92 Bulls playoffs? I can't imagine it was high. It's got to be
No, it
like,
was slow. Yeah, it was pretty slow. Most of their
I'll have to
finals
find
runs.
because I'm curious because I that's something we critiqued during Jordan's hypotheticals was the slow pace and how that affects you.
Yeah,
And
but that
pace
helps
is
the Lakers.
89, which is
That's
lower
way better
than
for
the Lakers.
For the Lakers,
Yeah. That helps LA, I believe.
Most of the time that helped MJ, but I think
Yeah.
with Shaq just is literally against this team is going to be an automatic bucket that it affects MJ so much.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he could go toe to toe. Because obviously, just off statistics alone, Shaq is more efficient than MJ. Just as simple.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's really hard when you don't have, as we've said a few times, it's really hard when you don't have another guy to match both of them, the duo.
Yeah.
Like, Scotty's not going to get you 30 a game. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
He could try.
And then the threes are going to be, I think, significant for them, too. In totality?
In totality, yes. I do agree with that. But I also think, they're not going to, actually, I guess you're right.
Well, because the Blazers. I was gonna say we just talked about we just talked about Portland.
The Blazers forced
Jordan
shot to
11.
take more threes in his brain.
Yeah, 11, and it's not gonna be like the issue was I mean, maybe they still do the same thing, especially going against a team with shooting 16 threes a game. I just don't think. I think even in the playoffs it was even more than that. It might have been 17 or 18. But I just don't think MJ is gonna score 6 straight threes on Kobe. Like I just don't see that personally.
I see him just attacking him in the post, like going down low, trying to
for sure.
inside.
I think it becomes a different battle in his brain because to him it's I want to show you that you can't fuck with me, and that's gonna be.
I want to show you
both
that
of them
I am
are gonna
daddy.
be like that.
I am your fucking daddy.
And honestly, that might even help Kobe in terms of statistically because it might really be a MJ versus Kobe thing rather than having Scotty play. Because I think MJ might tell Phil, no, he's all mine, kind of thing.
That competitor badge.
And I could just completely see them. They're guarding each other 1-on-1 entire series.
That's it.
I could totally see
Man,
that.
I hope you'd be right about that.
If that's the case, then Kobe's averaging 28
instead
instead of 25. That's because I still think
really?
Shaq
You think he averages more on just Jordan?
Yeah. So the issue, it's not about the defense as much as when you split out the defenders, you have one of them being able to rest, and if Kobe has to guard Jordan while he's rested because Pippen's been guarding him for half the quarter, and now Jordan could just do what. That's where you lose some of your efficiency. Like,
yeah, that makes sense.
There's just more to that than just. It's not that I don't think Jordan's a great defender. I just think that if they're going 1-on-1, it's more of a fair matchup between the two. I still think Jordan would score more, but that's also because Shaq should be getting more attempts.
So how many games?
I'm really tempted to just say 5 Lakers.
Wow.
And that's just because, and the only reason I want to give them 5 is because I think Jordan gets a game. But I really do think that it's
50,
too much.
Something crazy.
I think it's too much. When I think before when we had the Bulls, go to the 01, I think we had it around. I think we had it at 6. But I think it was just a completely different series at that point because it's a different era. Like the Bulls will probably adapt more to the 3 because it's being done more. You know what I mean? It just changes everything. So
they're just not a 3-point shooting team though. That's just not what they do. Lindsay, what do you got? How many games?
I want to say 6
for Lakers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why? I'm curious. This helps me make my own decision.
Because I feel like outside of Shaq, there's a lot of really good matchups for the Bulls in terms of defense, and with their ability to like guard all the other positions. So I feel like that's why it could go 6.
Yeah. It depends on how psychotic MJ gets, but I think I agree with you, Dario. I think I have it Lakers in 5, which is just crazy. There's definitely going to be people that disagree with us, no doubt about it. Yeah. Let us know what you think in the comments because I think this is a really interesting.
I think even the
interesting battle.
At depth, I think the Lakers are even better still at when you go depth wise. Yeah, like I just think you have way more reliable guys at the end of games than the Bulls do. Personally, like I think I'm trusting Fisher to shoot to make that 3 or Horry or freaking Rick Fox, like guys that are like. I mean, sure, they're kind of both in the same scenario, right? Because it's
they are
the second season of their three-peat, so they all have similar experience. But I just like the Lakers' depth more, along with their 2 stars.
It's close. It's similar depth though. Like it really is similar. Like Paxson and Fisher, like what they were doing in the era are not very different. Like they're just not. And there's a couple of guys like that, but I think the Horry factor is kind of interesting. If Horry's going to stretch the floor,
was Fisher shooting at that point?
Playoffs.
Because I think that either or doesn't matter.
So he took 19 threes in the finals.
So that's about almost 4 threes. Almost 4 threes a game. Oh, it's 5 games. Yeah. So almost 4 threes a game. So like I think that's the factor. Like. I don't think of Fisher as obviously super better than Paxson, but I think like his role is in that team is to be like a spot up shooter, right?
Right.
Really, and then also run the offense to an extent. And I think just him getting you those extra points each shot attempt versus Paxson is significant, right? Like if you shoot at 4 and you make 3, right, and Paxson shoots 4 and makes 3. Fisher just scored 12 points, right?
Yep.
Versus Paxson's 9. Like that's where it starts impacting a little more.
Yeah. No, that's fucking solid. That's solid info. I feel like that makes a lot of sense. But we have run through another season. We got one more season in the 90s, and I bet you could probably guess where we're going.
Yeah.
We will see you fuckers then.
Yeah.
Hey guys, if you like what you heard, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. Just type in Apex Greatness on YouTube to see everything we put out this year. From legacy breakdowns to current NBA and NFL content. We have over 150 videos to binge if you're that type of person, or just to listen to in your spare time. We have about 2 to 5 hours of new content every week. Check us out. Later.